I'm Carri Goldring with the Divorce Lending Association, and I'm a certified divorce lending professional, or CDLP for short. This is part of our divorce literacy series, and today I'm here with Jim Chryssikos. Jim, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Carri. My name is Jim Chryssikos, and I have a solo practice in Troy, Michigan. I've been in practice for 23 years, exclusively in the area of family law. I currently handle litigation matters, divorce litigation. I handle collaborative divorce, and I'm also a certified domestic relations mediator. So at this point, I would say that roughly 70 to 80% of my practice is still litigation, divorce litigation work, family law, which includes divorce, custody, support, anything relating to family law. And then the other 20 to 30% consists of the collaborative divorce work, mediation work, and that's it.
You're busy.
Yeah, try to be.
So can you tell us what got you into specializing in divorce?
Sure. When I started practicing, family law was not necessarily what I went into the profession to do. My first job coming out of law school happened to be in family law. It kind of fell in my lap. And then as I started doing it, after a couple of years, I realized that kind of hard to believe you can enjoy doing family law and divorce work, but I developed an appreciation for it. I did consider other avenues, but then the more I did it, the more it felt fulfilling and rewarding. And my experience is if you can do family law, especially exclusively family law, because a lot of people dabble in family law. A lot of people do a little bankruptcy work, a little civil litigation, a little family law, and have a general practice, and that's fine. But I was always doing exclusively family law from the beginning. And what I experienced was if you can do that, you can do all family law for, say, 2-3 years without burning out and saying, I got to do something else, then it might suit you. And I've seen a lot of attorneys burn out and decide it wasn't for them, and that's fine. They made the right decision for them. But I was able to appreciate it. And then as I started my solo practice, which was about 8 years ago, I really became more involved in the family law section and collaborative divorce and branching out and networking with other family law professionals, both attorneys and other professionals like you, mortgage and financial industry, and really embraced the family law community. I currently serve on the Family Law Council for the State Bar of Michigan. As you know, I currently serve on the board for CPIM, which is the Collaborative Practice Institute of Michigan. So I'm very active in all these other groups connected with family law, and that's made an even bigger difference. Is not just getting to the office and doing my work and putting in my hours and going home, but actually embracing the family law community, continuing education, helping fellow lawyers by serving on the Family Law Council, improving the practice of law, improving access to justice for our clients. And it's been very rewarding. That was a long-winded way of answering the question, but hopefully.
But that's good. And then you mentioned burnout. Do you think burnout is because it's emotionally exhausting, or is that?
It can be, yeah. As a young attorney or somebody new to family law, there are a lot of times where you take it home with you, whether you want to or not. You're laying in bed or you're waking up at night thinking about a client or a case, and some people just don't want that pressure, that stress. I mean, all areas of practice when you're in the law are stressful, and you think about things outside of working hours. But with family law, you're talking about an individual and their lives. sometimes their safety, sometimes, their relationship with their children. And that's something that you have to get used to and comfortable with. And some people can, and some people decide it's not for them. And that's okay. That's their decision, and they have to do what feels right for them.
Right.
But yeah, it does take a little time to kind of build up, and get a belly for it, and so you can handle that. And that takes a little while to know if you can.
I believe it. And I always feel like too, with the family law attorneys, your scope of knowledge has to be so wide because you're dealing with someone's whole entire life. It's not like you're just doing a contract or an estate plan, but you have to know about the real estate and the finance and the tax implications and the emotion, and there's so much involved that you really have to be knowledgeable in so many areas.
Knowledgeable, yes, but not an expert. So I know a little bit about mortgages to be dangerous, but when I have a real mortgage issue, I know to call you or a mortgage professional for a client. Same with tax. We know a little bit of tax, maybe a lot of tax aspects as it pertains to divorce. But when I know that there's a tax issue, I would not hesitate to advise a client to reach out to a couple of tax attorneys or CPAs to get really good information, and don't rely on, my expertise in those areas, because I want to make sure that I'm always focused on the family law aspects, and where we need a professional or an expert in a certain area, we bring those in. And thankfully, after 23 years and my contacts in the community, we got a really good Rolodex of financial professionals, mortgage professionals, realtors, CPAs, business valuation experts, and we bring them in when we need to.
Yeah, it's a lot. I could see where it could be really overwhelming.
The key is to recognize the issue and educate the client, and then bring in the expert.
That makes sense. And then maybe we'll wrap it up with one last question. Do you have like something that might be a myth to people contemplating or thinking about going through divorce that you would say is not really true?
There's a lot of misinformation when it comes to divorce. I think one that pops into my head, though, it's a good question. One that pops into my head, though, is a lot of people who I interview think that they need to look for the most aggressive family law attorney that they can find. And I think a lot of that is when we watch TV or listen to the radio, you see a lot of attorney ads, and sometimes they're wearing boxing gloves and they're fighting, and they say, you need an animal, you need a tiger. And look, there's a time in a family law case where that is appropriate in some cases. What you really need in a family law case is someone who's listening, and somebody who can think strategically, and someone who knows how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And sometimes that's being aggressive and assertive, and sometimes it's being strategic. So that's a myth. I think a lot of people, and look, those are different areas of the law. So sometimes you see those ads, and they're talking about personal injury cases, they're talking about discrimination cases, and you're not dealing with a married couple, right? In the family law, we're typically dealing with either a married couple or a couple who used to be in a romantic relationship, had children together maybe. And are we looking to be the most aggressive, the ugliest, the nastiest? And then the attorneys go home at the end of the case, and then these two people go and try to be co-parents to their children. And we just need to be aware of that and think about that, and think, as I said, think strategically.
That's smart. I think that's smart. Well, thank you. That was wonderful. And I think you gave a lot of really good insight. If I have people that are interested in getting a hold of you or talking to you more, what's the best way to do that?
Best way is to start is you can give me a call at my office. My phone number is 248-290-0515. Or look up my website, which I have posted here next to my name. It's chryssikoslaw.com.
Wonderful. Anything else that you want to end with before we finish up?
I just want to thank you for doing this. This is a great opportunity. Again, I love getting together with people in the community, in the family law community specifically, and helping to educate the public and our clients. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.